What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we have some more Final Destination Bloodlines news to share. If you didn't know, which I would be surprised if you're in this space or watching this video, if you didn't know about Tony Todd, an absolute icon, especially in the horror space, especially for the Final Destination franchise. But again, if you didn't know already, Tony Todd had passed away early November of last year, and I believe Final Destination is or was one of two of his final projects he was in. I believe Final Destination was his final project, Final Destination Bloodlines. I believe that was his final project he was in before his passing. But again, I could be wrong. But as you see from this headline here, Final Destination Bloodlines featurette promises we'll learn more about Tony Todd's William Bludworth. So for this article, it's a really short article, but one, I wanted to highlight this because Final Destination Bloodlines is going to be coming out later this year. So I know many of us have been anticipating this. It's been a long time since we've gotten a Final Destination film. However, with that said, being Tony Todd's one of his last films, and I believe he was in 2 or 3 of the other films in the franchise, including this one. But there is a video in here where they do a short, it's about a minute and a half. I looked at the timestamp, it's about a minute and a half. They do some brief interviews with not only Tony, but also some of the cast and crew, which we're going to take a look at as well. I couldn't find if there's a lengthier featurette out there that expands upon this minute and a half. I'm sure when we get the physical release of the film on 4K and Blu-ray, it'll probably be there for like the behind the scenes or for all the extras that will be added to the physical release. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, we're going to jump into this article, go through it real quick, then we're going to watch the minute and a half featurette. So let's get down into this. In addition to promising more bloody carnage, Final Destination Bloodlines is particularly special for fans because it will mark the final big screen appearance. Okay, so it was his final appearance. I know he was working on a couple projects. I couldn't remember if this one was his final big screen appearance or not. So obviously it was. For the late horror legend Tony Todd, who has played the franchise's mysterious William Bludworth since the beginning. Tony Todd played the enigmatic mortician William Bludworth in Final Destination, Final Destination 2, and Final Destination 5, and he's back one more time in Bloodlines. So that is a total of 4 films. I thought it was like 2 or 3, but it's going to be a total of 4. A new featurette this afternoon promises that Final Destination Bloodlines will finally reveal more about the character and the backstory that links him to the franchise's distant past, as well as where he came from and why he knows so much about Death's sadistic design. Watch the feature video below for a sneak peek at Tony Todd's final appearance. And as you know, Final Destination Bloodlines releases in theaters May 16th, so we are not that far away from that, just one more week to go. And then we have the featurette here, which we're going to take a look at here in a moment. The newest chapter in New Line Cinema's hit franchise is said to take audiences back to the very beginning. In the upcoming sequel, plagued by a violent reoccurring nightmare, college student Stephanie heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. And that's the end of the article. All right, so we're going to pull up this featurette. Like I said, it's not that long. It's about, like I said, a minute and a half or so, give or take. But I would imagine, again, the physical release, we will get at a more extended look into this interview itself. So let's pull it up and see what they're going to give us.
I've been waiting for you.
When Tony Todd first came on set, there was sort of a hush that fell over all of the cast and crew. Having this legendary figure come on to set and reprise his role as Bludworth, he brought this incredible gravity to the part.
People love the franchise. This is one of the few films that I've been able to return to more than once. The more you do a character, the more you understand it. And I love Bloodworth. He has a very interesting, enigmatic personality. Which one of you is next?
There's been such a legacy behind Bludworth. Many people have asked, who is Bludworth?
Is he an angel? Is he a devil? Who is this guy?
Death itself.
I don't make the rules.
We've always avoided answering the question because it's nice to keep it a mystery, but we heard the fans.
In this movie, we answer those questions.
Who he really is, where he really comes from, and how he is inextricably connected to the franchise at its very core.
Bloodworth spends 80% of his life in a morgue. I'm used to the dead, and I'm used to strange occurrences and the paranormal. In death,
There are no accidents.
I'm a massive horror movie fan and got to work with Tony Todd. So cool.
He is one of the most lovely human beings I have ever met.
I know who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. Bloodworth has always been interested in the reason why we're repeating this cycle. Will it ever be escaped? But we shall see.
We're going to see where Bloodworth came from. That's going to be really exciting.
You learn why he knows so much about escaping death.
Good luck.
So like I said, I am glad that we are getting a bit of a look at the character itself, and not just the character in the film. We get to hear right from Tony Todd himself as far as his take on the character, his take on playing the role for now will be 4 times. And it's just unfortunate he's no longer with us. And obviously you can see he wasn't in great health as the years have gone when they did that comparison from the previous 3 films he was in to how he looked in this last film. So I am glad though that they were able to include him in this final film and that they are expanding on his character, that as you heard them say, we're going to find out exactly who his character is, what role he really plays in all this. I think it would be interesting to see if he is the one, let's say like the puppet master, so to speak, of death, or is death himself. That would be quite interesting in itself. I don't think that's the route they're going to go, because I'm sure depending upon how well this film does financially, I would fully expect they're probably going to make another Final Destination film. So anyways, that's going to do it for this horror news update. Final Destination Bloodlines comes out May 16th, just a week away. A brief featurette with Tony Todd and some of the cast and crew from Final Destination Bloodlines. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know if you plan on seeing Final Destination Bloodlines. Also, if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Later.